All right, this is another nice to know. But again, you may read about this when you go into Stack Overflow or other articles, or when you talk to other developers, or if you're interviewing people. It's good to know some of the nice to know concepts because you can maintain your confidence and be able to have intelligent conversation with other developers. Store procedures is one of those. And there are, again, many other advanced concepts. But this one, I think you will hear about. I personally don't use store procedures that much when creating web applications, but it does come up. So the high-level theory is this, that what if you could create a function, your own custom function that you can use over and over and over again from one query to another query and so forth. So for example, maybe you like to combine information from one field and another field, and then, do this operation, concatenate this with this, and then do this operation. And you see that you do that a lot. Instead of putting all of that operation with every single SQL query, wouldn't it be wonderful just to create your own custom function, define those stored procedures, and have SQL basically operate those procedures and functions for you? So that's basically what stored procedures are. I don't use it that much. But again, if you're a business analyst or you're doing some very complex queries and you're seeing that, hey, I'm doing these complex manipulations all the time, and I'm doing this in this query and this query and this query and this query, at that point, you could refactor the queries and create a stored procedure. But again, you got to be careful whenever you do these stored procedures because, hey, maybe that procedure works for MySQL, but maybe it doesn't work for Postgres and it doesn't work for Oracle, right? So again, there is a reason why web developers, I think, stay away from using stored procedures and these other things in their web application, because we got to be flexible, we got to be generic. But again, if you're a business analyst or you're just creating a one-time report, and you don't have to worry about, oh, are we going to switch to Postgres, or are we going to move over to Oracle, or are we going to go into Amazon relational database, instead of us managing that? Well, if that's the case, you may want to, if you don't have to think about that, you could use stored procedures and it could make life easy. I never used it ever. But it's good to know. It's a nice to know that you can read about, maybe spend 3 minutes reading about it and then move on. Okay? All right, cool.